everybody, can you give me a reaction in your Zoom window? Okay, yan. Kahit anong reaction would be good. Hello also to everyone in the messaging in the chat box. So basically, as what Kevin mentioned, I have a background in brand marketing. So I worked for the fast food industry for 5 years before I came into the full time ministry in CCF. And so whatever we do in CCF is actually rooted from Content 101. So I will start sharing my slide already. Okay, hold on. um this part of the workshop is actually very for marketers. It's actually very generic, but for video editors and graphic designers, I'm not sure if you are working actually in the industry. For example, if you are actually in an advertising agency, you will be very familiar with the words and the terms that I will use. But if not, it's okay because I'm going to define them for you guys. But basically, what we're going to try to achieve today in the first part of this workshop is that as creatives, we often miss the very beginning of a campaign or content creation. And sometimes we actually just shoot for the stars without aiming anything. And when you don't have an aim, you just shoot and shoot, what will happen? Definitely, it will not go anywhere, or you will not actually meet your end goal. And so, it is very important that you know the very basics of content creation. Okay, so the most common question that I get from content creators or for video editors, photographers, or creatives in general is, where do I begin? Which is true. In an industry where there are a lot of videos, there are a lot of materials, especially online, you don't know actually where you will begin. And so I am here to actually teach you about doing a brief. Okay. So what is a brief? Okay. So brief is actually your manual. So I know that Gen Zs and millennials don't actually read user manuals right now. Tama ba? But in content creation, you should have your manual because the brief actually gives you direction for creative execution. So dahil brief nga siya, brief means brief. It's short, sweet, concise, and straight to the point. Okay? So, who are the people that should be writing the brief? To be honest, in the corporate world, it should be the marketing or the brand persons or the project owner who's actually doing the brief. But it is not limited to the project owner or the brand person. In fact, anybody can actually do a brief because why? It's sweet, it's short, and it's concise and it's straight to the point. And even individuals who wants to create content can actually create a brief. Okay. So, great campaigns start with a well-written brief. Sometimes, people at the end of the chain in terms of creating the campaign or people who are actually viewing materials like videos or posters or whatever you see online, you don't actually they don't actually know what's happening before the actual production. But to be honest, all great campaigns start with a well written brief. Why am I saying that? A clear brief actually gives room for bullseye, highly creative content. Okay, so again, I will repeat it. A clear brief gives room for bullseye, highly creative content. Meaning to say, if you have a brief and it is clear, it gives room for creativity. It's like setting your mind on one thing and then you execute it creatively. Hi, so I'm going to show you some examples. If you can see this poster, um, you can see a coffee in an alarm clock. And basically, it has no copy. A copy means yung caption or anything, diba? It has no copy, but the communication game is strong. Do you agree? If you agree, give me a thumbs up. Okay. So this one, this poster, it has no copy, but the communication game is strong. Second, this one is from Sneakers. It is copy heavy, but it captured our attention, right? So, ang daming nakasulat, but definitely it still captures your attention. And then lastly, this poster is both copy and visual heavy, but message is delivered. So, no matter what your execution is, it all boils down to a clear brief. And these posters actually came from a very 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 clear brief, because if not, hindi yan lalabas na ganyan kaganda, na hindi siya that's very clear, even without copy, with copy, or both heavy, right? So that's one thing. So now, maybe you're already asking, shucks, what's inside the brief? Parang how do I make the brief? Or I'm not a writer. I'm not good at words, diba? So how can I actually write the brief? So sometimes it feels like it's overwhelming, but when you have a goal in mind, it's actually not overwhelming at all, and it's very simple. And we're going to go through it together. Okay. So what I'm going to show you is an express. Why? Because I have to shorten it. I have to make sure to share with you the key elements of what's inside the brief, but it's not limited to what's in my PowerPoint presentation. But everything that I will discuss are the key elements. Okay. So first, communication objective. So what is a communication objective? The communication objective is actually stating what is your purpose. What's your purpose for doing a video, or what's your purpose for creating a poster, or what's your purpose for creating a campaign? It also answers, the communication objective also answers, why do you do what you do? So bakit? It's the why to your what. And it's very important because a great campaign always starts with the why. A great content always starts with a why. Next, what is your core reason for creating a content? I just like to relate. Like for example, Emong in his devotional earlier, he mentioned that, diba, we have to do things all for the glory of God, correct? And that is your core reason for creating a content, so that we can do all things for the glory of God. That can be your core reason. Okay. Next, I have to emphasize that meaningful content is equals to meaningful objective or purpose. The more meaningful your objective, or the more meaningful your purpose is, the more meaningful content you will produce. Sometimes, sometimes you don't need to have extravagant tools. Hindi mo kailangan ng PSD or Premiere or Photoshop. Sometimes you don't need high level editing skills or animation. Sometimes it's not important as long as you have the right objective. So I just want to make it clear, because sometimes also tools, or the things that we use to edit or create graphic design actually hinders us from doing a good content. But I assure you that with a good communication objective, with a meaningful objective or purpose, you'll be able to create a meaningful content. Okay, second, know your audience. Okay, so sino ba yung audience? So who is your target market? So in marketing, we call it target market, or who are you talking to? Sinong kausap mo? In this case, as I present, who am I talking to? It's everybody in this Zoom meeting, and you are all content creators. You are graphic designers. You are creative producers and videographers. So you are my target market. Next, where is your target market? Where do they interact? Diba? Where are they available? Are they available on Facebook? Are they available on TikTok? Or are they available on Instagram? Diba? So you have to know who your target market is and where is your target market. Next, what is your target market doing? You have to be able to pinpoint or identify what is your target market doing. Ano yung ginagawa niya as of this moment? What is what is his or her hobbies, di ba? Or what is his or her interest. So you have to know everything about your target market. It's just like pursuing a woman, di ba? Or pursuing someone, or whether, for example, you are dating or you are in a relationship, you have to know who the person is. And ganun din, in relating to your audience, you have to know the ins and outs of your audience. So para kang nanliligaw. but be- but for you to be able to do that, you have to identify demographics. So it's clear. Demographics, um anything, so it would be your education, their education, so pwedeng college, high school, or are they young professionals, or they are retired, di ba? Nationality, are they Filipinos, or are you talking to people globally, di ba? Socioeconomic class, are they middle class, are you talking to the elites, or are you talking to the masses? You also have to know the gender. Is he male or female? And then status, it's also important, and religion. Why? So these things are important. For example, religion, because you don't want to produce content that may offend their religion. So you really have to know who your target market is. But aside from the demographics, you have to know their psychographics. Okay, so the psychographics actually refers to the personality of the person. So for example, is that person extrovert, introvert, or what are they doing? What is their lifestyle? What are their values? Diba? What are their opinions? So for example, your audience is very outspoken on social media. They are the woke. Tingnan nyo, hindi ko na alam yung woke generation because I am not Gen Z, but I am a millennial. Okay, what are their they are the woke generation. They are very opinionated. They like to talk about politics, or even up to the level of, are they listening to Taylor Swift, or are they listening to Butter of BTS? I don't know. But you have to identify what are they doing, who are they, where are they, and what are their interests. So nailing down your audience sets your tone and defines your platform. If you know who you are talking with, you will be able to set your tone, how you will be able to communicate to them. And also, it will define your platform. Badly put, if your target audience are the Gen Z, will you be able to find them in LinkedIn? It is the Gen Z. Where do you go? TikTok, Instagram, right? So you have to be able to know who they are so that you will know where to talk to them. And that is very important. Sets your tone. What do I mean by setting your tone? If you're talking to the older generation, are you going to talk to them like, yo, 'di ba? Hindi mo naman sila ganun kakausapin ba? Yo, aunt, yo, 'di ba? Hindi eh, 'di ba? So it's really setting your tone and be able to define your platform as you nail down your audience. Next, this is the third one. You have to identify their pain point. Okay? Coming from the word pain, okay? Ano yung pain point? Okay? So the pain point is actually what is their felt need. In Tagalog, anong hugot nila sa buhay? Okay. If you can remember, there's a beautiful ad that Nescafe did. And I know that it actually resonates to all of us. Can you remember it? Para kanino ka bumabangon? And that's actually a hugot. That is actually a felt need. That is actually a pain point. And so to further evaluate what a pain point is, it can be a recurring problem or an issue in their lives, something that they want to solve or resolve. Okay. Or a pain point can also be something that they actually aspire to do or aspire to be, diba? Also, the pain point is what is inside their minds. So if you can see the pattern, once you get to know your audience, who you want to target, the next step is going inside their hearts and their minds. Okay. Next, what changes do they want to happen? So, for example, badly put, you're talking to a millennial who is very active in politics and they want change in the country, then that is a pain point. Okay, so you have to be able to get into their hearts and into their minds. So, communication needs connection. Okay, we have to be very clear with that. You cannot shoot for the stars without aiming for the stars. Because mamaya you're shooting for the stars, but because you don't have aim or you don't have a connection, you are instead shooting for what? Moon, di ba? So you have to meet your where they are, target market where they are. You have to see them eye to eye. Remember when you are talking, what is the most visible way or what is the symbol or what is the sign na nakikinig talaga sa'yo yung tao? Di ba? It's really eye contact. And so that is also how you do it in content creation. You have to see them eye to eye. And lastly, as you go into their hearts and into their minds, it becomes relevant because it connects with them. Okay, so the pain point is the human truth. The pain point should be a human truth. Hindi siya pwedeng gawa-gawa lang. Okay? It should be a human truth. And you can do that actually by just browsing your Facebook feeds and see what is the hugot or what is the felt need of the people in there. But make sure that the pain point is the human truth, because if it's not the human truth, then they will not be able to connect with it. Okay. Fourth, you have to define the key message. And this is actually my favorite. And Angel, who will be talking to you later in terms of graphic design, she knows how I always ask for the key message because as a marketer, it's very important. So, what is the key message? Okay. So, you have to ask yourself, what is the simple thing that you want to say to your target market? Ano yung pinaka-simple na gusto mong sabihin sa target market mo? Simple, it doesn't mean it has to be long. It doesn't mean also that you will use highfalutin words in our key message. You'll be amazed on how simple key messages are. But it has to be very simple. It has to be direct. And it has to say what you want to say to your target market. And most importantly, the key message answers the pain point. So whatever the pain point is, whatever the hugot is, it's like you're giving a solution to the pain point. So para saan pa that you search for the pain point or you get into their hearts, into their minds without addressing the gap, right? So the key message actually addresses the gap. Okay, so the key message is the basis of creative execution. Okay, it is the very basis of creative execution. Every video, every poster that you will see, there will always be a key message. And sometimes you don't just realize it, but there is a key message. The key message is your brand truth. If the pain point is the human truth, the key message is your brand truth. And so, in order to be able to create a good content, you have to match the human truth to your brand truth. And the good news is our brand truth is actually Jesus. So there's nothing truer than your brand truth because it's Jesus. And so you really have to match the human truth to your brand truth. Okay, so I'm going back to these illustrations that I have shared with you earlier. And I am going to, so I am not from Nescafe, I am not from Sneakers, and I am not from Pringles, and I am in no way advertising them, okay? But I am going to try to decipher, or going to try to check their key message based on um the key visuals or the posters that I am actually seeing. And if you also want to participate, you can actually try to guess it with me. Okay, so let's see nga. Okay, I'm hungry. I'm sorry for making you hungry. Okay, so for example, Nescafe. Okay, I'm going to attempt. So for me, the key message of Nescafe is Nescafe coffee is so strong to wake you up in the morning. Why did I say that is a key message? Because the coffee is actually in an alarm clock. And what does an alarm clock do? It wakes you up, correct? And so, with that visual, you already know the key message. And hindi magagawa yung key visual na yan if without the key message. Next, for sneakers. Okay? For sneakers, You are not you when you are hungry. Kasi you can't spell. Okay, you are not you when you are hungry. So satisfy your hunger with sneakers. Why do I say that you have to satisfy your hunger with sneakers? Because meron siyang call to action. Grab yourself a sneakers fast. Right? Okay. So key message is very important. Third, okay, Pringles. Okay, so Ria is actually eating Pringles and the ad was effective. But basically, what does this ad tells us? The key message of this ad is simple. Pringles cheese is extremely cheesy. Simple, right? How did they do it creatively? They put cheese with extra cheese and a side order of cheese, di ba? In the key visual using a cheese visual. And so you will know that Pringles is actually extremely cheesy. Okay. So that is how powerful key messages are. And it actually sets the tone, sets the mood, sets your graphic design and your videos effectively. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that exercise because I really love key message and deciphering key message as a brand marketer. I usually do that. I'll just go to what are the best ads or basically what are the ads in the Google right now, and I try to decipher their key message. So if I wasn't able to decipher their key message, it means that the brief is not clear. So a good content creator knows how to write a brief, and it's simple. It has to be clear, sweet, short, and concise, right? Okay, so for the kinesthetic learners out here like me, I do not learn by just merely listening, but I'm actually learning by being shown an example or doing it. So we're going to try it, okay? So I'm not saying that I am the best person who can write a brief, but we will try, okay? So we have four components of your project brief express, and so what we're going to do is we are going to nail a communication objective. And let's say I am a content creator, or let's say I am an independent TikToker. Okay. Or if I'm not an independent TikToker, or maybe I'm just working in the church, right? Um, well, I'm actually working in the church. So I have to nail down a communication objective. So a sample communication objective looks like this. So my communication objective is to reach out those people who are living a life without meaning and purpose. Why do I say that? Because of course, coming from a standpoint of a believer, I already know the meaning of my life and the purpose of my life. However, there are people out there who doesn't really know the meaning and the meaning of their lives or their purpose. And so I want to reach out to them. That is my communication. That is my objective, to reach out those who are living a life without meaning and purpose. Okay, so that's very clear. Okay, so now who are my target audience? Okay, so because I am a millennial, I will also talk to the millennials because it's easier if I'm a content creator. So my audience, their demographics would be they are millennials, they are young working adults like me, middle class, male and female, and of course Filipinos. And I've stated the religion here. It's they are non-Christians or not believers as of this point. That's why I want to try to reach out to them and to share them the true meaning and purpose of life. So those they are my audience. So basically, how I will put out my content, it will speak to the millennials. I will use terminologies that are familiar to the millennials. I will use situations that are relatable to the young working adults. And it is for both male and female. So there's no direct gender that I will be talking to. But for sure, they are all Filipino and they are non-Cs. Okay. How about the psychographics? Okay, for the psychographics, I made it a little bit interesting. And what I did is I labeled them as fulfillment seekers. Okay, so they are living a life without meaning and purpose. And so what they do is that they seek for fulfillment. Okay, so ito yung mga tao. that they just want to be fulfilled in their lives. So where do they find their fulfillment? I have to get into their heads and study where they find their fulfillment. So they find their fulfillment in life through work. So young millennials, so our young working adults, are mostly busy with work. They are overachievers, tirelessly working, and OT ng OT, okay? Sila to, because they think that getting into climbing the ladder in the corporate will actually give them fulfillment. Some also they find fulfillment in life through numerous pursuits. Meaning to say, by numerous pursuits, they are travelers. They try exciting things. They try different types of food. Okay, so they find fulfillment in different pursuits. The third one is they find fulfillment in life through validation of others, aka social media. So they keep posting on what they do, they keep posting their selfies, they keep posting um, their what they have, their material things, because they think they can get fulfillment in life through the validation of others. I'm not gonna preempt because I'm not naman going to show any video material or any poster, but I'm going to preempt na dito pa lang sa audience, the way I put in the audience, you can already have multiple creative executions. You can already have setting that is in the workplace. You can already have a setting that is in, let's say, for example, in a bungee jumpy setting, or a person who is traveling, or you can already put it in a social media setting. So dito pa lang, because you've already nailed down who your audience is and you know what's in their hearts and in their minds, you can already visualize how you can execute your material, right? So that's your audience. Now, the question is, what is their pain point? Okay. What is their hugot? What is their felt need? Okay. And that could be actually this. You will write it, the pain point, you will write it in a way that you are the target market. So the pain point would be, my deepest desire is to find fulfillment in life, which is true because there are fulfillment seekers and they don't know the meaning of life and their purpose. So their deepest desire is really fulfillment in life. I keep searching for it everywhere. I search for it in work, in my passions and relationships, but at the end of the day, I remain unfulfilled and satisfied. And so the cycle repeats. I'm going to work hard, I'm going to try new things. I will try to be validated by social media, but at the end of the day, I am still not satisfied. And that is the pain point. Is that a human truth? Is that a human truth? Yes. And sometimes before we come to know Christ, we are also at that point. Okay, now what is the key message? If this is the pain point, what is the key message? What will address the gap? What will answer the pain point? The key message is simple. Fulfillment can't be found anywhere or from anyone. It can only be found in Jesus. Is it simple? Yes, because it answers the pain point. Because, for example, the pain point, they try to find it everywhere, but they can find it there. That's the truth. That's your brand truth. And the brand truth is you can only find it in Jesus. And so that is your key message. So your key message will now be the basis of your graphic design or your video. And that will be the end point, or when they see your material, ito yung makikita nila. When they see your material, they will know, they will see right there that fulfillment can only be found in Jesus. Okay, so you're going to ask me what's next, diba? After writing it down, what's next? If you are a content writer, then you are writing the brief, or if you are you are the same person who will do the video, you are the same person who will actually do your poster. It's okay, but what's next is really, you now pass the baton for storytelling and graphic design. It's now time to give this brief to someone who will actually execute it. It's now time to actually give it to your photographer. It's now actually the time to give it to your videographer. Or if ikaw yon, it's now the time to review it and sit and think about on how you can execute the key message in the most creative way. Okay, kasi marami sa atin ano eh, one-man team, okay? Siya na yung gagawa ng brief, siya pa yung gagawa ng lahat, okay? But storytelling and graphic design is not my forte because we have one body in Christ. And so the next would actually be going to the parts of the creatives.